We come into this world fragile, uncertain, and full of needs. As we grow, we spend much of our lives trying to escape these feelings. We chase after achievements, possessions, relationships, status, and power, believing that once we gain enough of these things, our unease will vanish and we'll finally be secure and fulfilled. But this belief that happiness lies somewhere out there, just beyond the next accomplishment, may be the very illusion that keeps us trapped in dissatisfaction. To understand this more deeply, we can turn to an ancient philosophy that has endured for over 2,000 years: Stoicism. What is Stoicism? Stoicism was born in ancient Greece and later flourished in Rome, shaping the minds of emperors, generals, and ordinary citizens alike. Unlike many philosophies that faded into history, Stoicism remains strikingly relevant. Its wisdom has been studied and applied by leaders like Nelson Mandela, modern thinkers like Ryan Holiday, and millions of people online who find comfort in its timeless truths. Why does Stoicism remain so powerful today? Because it offers a way to remain steady and resilient in a world filled with chaos, uncertainty, and endless desire. The Stoic worldview at the heart of Stoicism lies a simple but profound distinction. There are things we can control, and there are things we cannot. The world itself does not bend to our preferences. It does not erase hardship, chaos, or loss simply because we want it to. And yet Stoicism does not leave us powerless. It reminds us that while we cannot dictate external events, we can always shape our internal responses. In other words, peace is not about controlling life. It's about controlling ourselves within life. The trap of endless desire modern culture constantly reinforces the idea that fulfillment lies outside us. We are told that if we buy more, achieve more, or gain more recognition, then we will finally arrive at happiness. But this thinking only keeps us running on a treadmill, endlessly chasing the next fix. Stoicism suggests that true success is not measured by what we possess, but by what we can live without. Wealth, fame, and power are not evil. They can be enjoyed, but they must never be relied upon for peace of mind. If we depend on them, our happiness will always remain fragile, vulnerable to fortune's whims. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor often called the philosopher king, had access to unimaginable power and luxury. Yet he wrote in his meditations, "Almost nothing material is needed for a happy life, for he who has understood existence." His insight was simple: contentment is an inside job. Practices of the Stoics. The Stoics were not content with abstract ideas. They practiced. One exercise was voluntary discomfort. By temporarily giving up luxuries or comforts, they reminded themselves that they could endure without them. Seneca, one of Rome's greatest Stoic thinkers, advised, "Until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. By stripping away the non-essential, we discover how little we truly need to live well." Another practice was reflecting on mortality. Far from being grim, this exercise sharpened their sense of presence. Life is short, and time is the one resource we cannot replace. Seneca warned against wasting it, writing that we guard our money carefully yet squander our days, forgetting that time is far more precious. Reframing reality for the Stoic, nothing is inherently good or bad. Only our judgments make it so. We label events as blessings or curses, but in reality, they are just events. What matters is how we respond. If fortune smiles on us, we remain steady. If hardship strikes, we remain steady. This doesn't mean we feel nothing, but that we refuse to let circumstances define our worth. As Seneca put it, the wise man is neither raised up by prosperity nor cast down by adversity. This shift in perspective is powerful. It means that no matter what happens, loss, success, insult, praise, we retain the freedom to choose our response. And in that freedom lies peace. Our place in nature. Stoicism also teaches humility. We are not the center of the universe, but small parts of a vast, interconnected whole. Everything that happens, even the painful, is part of nature's order. By accepting this, we stop fighting against reality and instead learn to live in harmony with it. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily to meet life with calm acceptance. People will be selfish, events will be unpredictable, and suffering will come. But none of this can rob us of our ability to live virtuously. Why Stoicism matters today. In our time, the relevance of Stoicism could not be clearer. We live in an age of constant comparison, digital noise, and cultural pressure to endlessly achieve. Our screens remind us of what we lack, and society convinces us that more is always the answer. But Stoicism invites us to step off the treadmill. It tells us that life is not something to be chased in the future, but lived fully in the present. Seneca warned against blindly following the herd, writing, "We should not, like sheep, follow the creatures in front of us, making our way where others go, not where we ought to go." The Stoic path requires courage, the courage to define our values, to live with intention, and to resist the pull of endless craving. The Stoic vision of happiness, when viewed from a distance, the things we obsess over, wealth, approval, reputation, appear trivial. They are fleeting shadows. What truly matters is how we live each day, how we think, how we act, and whether we align ourselves with virtue. Happiness, then, is not about changing the world to suit us. It's about changing ourselves to meet the world as it is. It's about accepting reality, focusing on what we can control, and living with presence and integrity. The Stoics remind us that even in the storms of life, there is a still place within us. If we cultivate it, no loss, no insult, no misfortune can shake us from it. Stoicism is not about perfection. No one can live without moments of desire, frustration, or fear. But Stoicism offers us a target to aim at, a way of living with greater calm, resilience, and freedom. In a world filled with chaos and craving, Stoicism is a quiet anchor. It does not promise us control over life's storms, but it does promise that we can learn to steer ourselves through them. And perhaps in doing so, we find not the fleeting happiness the world sells us, but the steady, enduring peace that comes from within.